All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. You know, I just want to kind of speak from the heart today and not get too much into any one specific thing. We've talked about grittiness. We've looked at leadership, and we're trying to bounce back from 2020. And again, I've tried to be honest throughout this that 2020 was a weird year. It was rough, and people are struggling with not only the fallout of just the sickness and the lockdowns and maybe even financial hardships, but the mental issues that come along with all those things being kind of ripped out from under you. And so I just want to make sure that everybody listening understands that I don't think that this series or anybody's words or actions is just going to magically solve those kinds of issues. Things got really messed up in 2020 in all kinds of different areas. And again, COVID is the biggest one and the lockdowns are the biggest one, and this separation from each other is really it's the big one that is hurting so many people. And again, it's hurting them mentally and emotionally. And so the ideas that I'm putting forth, they're not meant to make those problems disappear. And I've gotten some feedback on these videos, and I've had conversations with families and with my friends. And we all have some emotional scarring from last year. But my hope is in talking about this and putting it out there and saying, if you have some of these qualities and if you work toward seeking out, being a little bit more gritty, and you try and find solutions to some of the issues that you feel like you're having or family or friends might be having, then you're going to do a better job of moving forward in the new year. And so, again, you are in the most control of your improvement. And again, it's not fixing it. But it also, I don't want it to be a Band-Aid. You don't want to just Band-Aid over a wound and not then check on it and make sure it's okay. That's one reason I've really advocated for some of that self-reflection, is that, you kind of need to go back to it. I cut my finger pretty bad the other week, and I use personal stories just so hopefully people can kind of connect. But I cut it pretty bad and right on the knuckle, and so it's in a bad spot where it kind of keeps opening up. But for those first couple of days, I had to kind of keep it wrapped up. But at the end of the day, I needed to check it to see. I wanted to make sure that it was still clean. I wanted to make sure that it was healing. I wanted to make sure that if my bandage had gotten some blood on it, that I cleaned it out. I got it changed and put a fresh dressing on there so that there wasn't going to be a buildup of bacteria. And so with that analogy, what I mean is that, if you're hurting because you're at home and you're not getting the social interaction that you're craving, which again, all of us are, how can you find a way to start getting some of that back? Not all of it, and not to change it, not to completely fix it. But, I think that, again, some of that reflection and just trying to have some of that, again, self-awareness that we talked, that we've touched on before, to understand how things are going for you and how you can make them better for yourself. And then along with that, how do you seek out help and ask questions of people so that you can do, even better with that? Because that's really what it boils down to is you're not going to solve this on your own. And that's one of the reasons why I was tasked with doing this, and why I enjoy trying to talk about it with you guys, is that, we all need somebody to talk to, and we sometimes I think need to hear that there are other people going through similar things. And you know what? I understand that talking about a volleyball practice is not the same as talking about the cold hard truth of, your parent went to work and you're at home on your own trying to work through school. Or, you know what, you're an adult and you're stuck at home doing work in a completely different environment than what you're used to. You know, those are much harsher realities than, you know what, there was a tough volleyball tournament, and then, you know, the next day we found a way to fix an issue. Again, it's not that simple, but that's just kind of an analogy to draw in order to show that some of those things can be done if they are addressed. And it doesn't make it necessarily go away. And if I think back to some of the stories I've used, none of those things fixed it perfectly. But again, we didn't want to gloss over it, kind of slap a quick Band-Aid on it, and then never go back and re-look at it. And, when problems started to pop up that were similar, we didn't just ignore them because we thought we had, fixed the one issue, or worked on the one issue. So, for today, I want people to realize that, we're all broken. We're all broken people, and you have to find what works best for you to continually try and reflect and build yourself up to the best person that you can be under the circumstances. And, we all have our different coping mechanisms for that. And I would encourage you to try different things. This is the time to do that, to try different things in order to find out how you cope with this. And a lot of that's going to be in talking with family, talking with friends, and understanding that there are still people there for you, even if we're disconnected. I sit here at a computer throughout the day, and I check on attendance, and I call families, and I try and talk with them and find out what's going on, if kids are missing, if their grades have gotten low. And, more often than not, it's just that, it's kind of a lack of motivation, because this is a hard time to try and stay motivated and stay on task when, again, even for me right now, I'm sitting in my garage. I got all kinds of projects. I got all kinds of things that I look around and I could be doing instead, but I have to have kind of a list of tasks and goals for the day. And, that's what it comes back to, is, again, reflecting on how I did yesterday. How can I improve tomorrow? And then what are my goals for that? And then, the process starts over the next day. And it doesn't fix it. And do I reach every goal? No. Do I expect every person to reach every single goal they write down for each day? No. I think sometimes if we're doing that, maybe you're writing goals that are too simple. Do we want them to be achievable and attainable? We do. But, if I set them so easy every day, get up at 6:30, make sure I get dressed, make sure I go to work. Well, okay, I have to do those things basically in order to function for the day. So those aren't really challenging goals. If it's get up 15 minutes earlier so I can exercise, that's pretty attainable. There could be some things that get in the way of that, but for the most part, I can make that happen. So that's a pretty good goal to write. And then maybe another goal that pushes you a little bit harder. If you got a backlog of some work to do, maybe it's I'm going to get my assignment done today, and I'm going to get my assignment done from 3 days ago that I missed done. And so that goal might be a little harder. There might be another assignment that's all of a sudden thrown your way that takes a little longer and you don't get to it. But you know what? Then you look at it and you go, you know what? Okay, well, I was productive working hard on the stuff I had to do. And this one goal that was kind of an extra goal, I didn't quite get to it. So how can I address it the next day? And so please, today is about, again, we talked about it before, but reflection. You got to reflect on how you are doing and be honest with yourself. If you had a rough day, if you had a day that was just not okay, and, you were struggling with feeling, upset or anxious, or a little bit depressed about the way things were going, or stressed out over an assignment or an activity or a family issue, you need to think about that and realize that, number one, how can you address it for tomorrow? And again, not how you can fix it, but how can you address it and just try and make it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And then the other point to that is, how can I find somebody else who may be able to help me with it? And also understanding that, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through that same issue. I can definitely attest to the fact that there are plenty of people having these issues, and we've all had our ups and downs in 2020 and are continuing to in the start of 2021. There's certain things we get excited about and then, gets canceled, or we get down about one thing and then all of a sudden something new comes our way and we get back up a little bit. So again, I don't expect everybody to go fix their problems. I don't expect us to not have any downs just because I'm saying these things and because I am trying to teach you how to be a little more gritty and we're talking about these items. But I do think in my heart and in the research that I've done and other people I've listened to that there is a way to go about being resilient and having some grit and reflecting. So again, go out there today, reflect on how you're doing, be honest with yourself, and then try and seek solutions that will help. Again, not fix it, but help you. All right? So have a great Thursday. It'll be Friday tomorrow. We'll be getting closer to the weekend. And, that's always an exciting time to be able to try and just take a deep breath. Again, reflect on the week prior and see how you can go forward into the next week, and do well. So we'll be back here tomorrow on Friday, and we'll continue just trying to navigate this kind of crazy time, together and through some of the things that I've found and seen and done in order to try and, relay that to you. So thank you guys so much for another great episode, and we'll talk again tomorrow.